Hi guys, Scott here from TEPIS Paranormal, and I'm back with day 17 of the TEPIS Paranormal Christmas Advent Calendar. So yesterday we looked at Hampton Court Palace, and today we're staying in London to look at Highgate Cemetery. Located in London, England, Highgate Cemetery is a burial ground with around 220,000 people buried across the area. Highgate is split into two cemeteries, the West Cemetery and the East Cemetery, with Swains Lane separating the two. The cemetery originally opened in 1839 as a part of a plan to open 7 large cemeteries around London, with these later being known as the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven were required due to overcrowding in the city and the number of burials taking place becoming troublesome. Due to the Victorian attitude to death, the cemetery features a variety of expensive Gothic-style tombs, with presentation being an important feature for the Victorians. The cemetery also contains a number of war graves, with 318 Commonwealth service personnel buried within, as well as 259 burials from World War I and 59 from World War II. Additionally, the cemetery also contains a fireman's corner, where members of the London Fire Brigade could be buried. This area has 97 buried within it. The most famous burial at the site is that of German philosopher Karl Marx, whose tomb is a listed building within the cemetery. Marx's tomb was the site of 2 attempted bombings in 1965 and 1970 respectively, however still stands to this day. The cemetery was abandoned by the end of World War II, with buildings crumbling and plants blooming. In around the 1960s, stories of men in dark robes began surfacing. It suggested that these men practiced dark rituals and that ghosts haunted the alleyways around the graveyards. Further reports also claimed to see red-eyed demons staring out through the cemetery fence. This then led to the rumour of the Highgate vampire. Said to be a Romanian medieval nobleman who practiced black magic, the nobleman's coffin was brought to England in the 18th century. The coffin would then be buried on the ground that would later become Highgate, where he lay dormant until satanic rituals taking place at the cemetery awoke him. The vampire is said to be a tall, dark figure that prowls around the cemetery, with a sudden drop in temperature often coinciding with his sightings. Furthermore, when in his presence, watches and clocks stop and animals flee. The vampire has been blamed for a number of dead foxes found within the cemetery. In addition to the vampire, the cemetery is also home to reports of banshee-like wailing and spiritual apparitions seen floating around. There have also been sightings of a ghostly cyclist seen cycling up the steep lane between the cemeteries, often seen disappearing into objects, and the ghost of a floating nun has also been seen on the premises. So, could this London cemetery be haunted by spirits of the past, and could the satanic worship rumoured to have taken place within have woken a restless vampiric entity? With the cemetery still being a functional cemetery to this day, as well as a tourist attraction, it's possible that sightings may continue and that evidence of these hauntings may one day be captured. But for now, I've been Scott from TEPIS Paranormal, and this has been day 17 of the TEPIS Paranormal Christmas Advent Calendar. I'll see you tomorrow.